The stories shared on It Takes Balls are unique to the individual sharing. Always speak with your trusted medical provider for treatment options specific to you. Welcome back to a very special episode of It Takes Balls. This is episode 100. We are at the 10th Annual Testicular Cancer Conference. I should say annual with an asterisk. We did have a pandemic in the middle, but
that's true.
I'm here with BJ Lang. He's the MC for the conference. He was the first podcast guest. BJ, 100 episodes. I mean, what do you think about that?
What I got to say about 100 episodes is exactly what you're listening to. It takes balls. And that's what Stephen Crocker has or had. And the point is, we're doing it for you out there. Stephen's putting all of this out there so that we can help fellow testicular cancer survivors and patients, and hopefully get some researchers and medical experts to kind of hear a little bit more about this disease and help and advocate and do what we do with TCAF.
And we're doing things a little bit different with this episode. Obviously, we're here at the conference. Mm-hmm. It's live, in quotes. We're going to have people filter in, hopefully, try to catch up with some past guests. We got a lot of past guests registered for the conference, so it'll be cool to catch up with some people.
Yeah, you got quite a few people. I've noticed previous guests on the podcast that are here. And you guys can't see it here if you're watching the video of this, the video podcast, but we are overlooking the river here. There's people rowing down the river in Boston. It's gorgeous, and really excited for the conference tomorrow, which you should go to the Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation website and check out some of the follow-up videos and pictures and all that stuff from there too.
And we started early. I promise there's people over there. There's a lot of people over there. They're probably scared of the camera now, but I see Brian Vesall. He's a friend of TCAF. I know he'll filter over here and bring some people with him. So,
let me ask you this. So it's been 100 episodes so far. What have you learned, one, about your journey in testicular cancer in all of this, talking to over 100 people?
Well, I think really it was a confirmation of what I thought the podcast would be, which is that everybody has a story. Everybody's story is unique, but there are similarities in everybody's story.
Sure.
And I think that, those similarities make the podcast worth it, so people can kind of hear, I'm not weird because that happened to me. It happened to BJ, or
totally.
It happened to Brian, or,
sure.
So I think it's good to have these stories shared so that people know that they're not alone.
Most vivid memory from It Takes Balls so far? Like, what do you got from all? I mean, this was, obviously you got 100 episodes, so quite a few memories, but do you have a favorite?
It's hard to beat episode 1 with BJ Lang, but no, I mean,
I paid him to say that.
I every episode I learned something new, so I'm super grateful for the providers that have been on the show. I'm hoping some of them will filter in here tonight as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, just that they've said that they share the podcast as a resource for their patients is amazing. I'm just a dummy who doesn't know what he's doing, so
right.
I appreciate anybody who listens and finds it helpful.
How much has your pre-production changed as far as like what you're going to ask someone? You've learned so much from different guests, so maybe what you thought the podcast was going to be, the flow that you thought you were going to have, how did that change based on guests over time?
I don't know. I think that's a better question for the listener.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I don't really know. I try not to come in with too much of a script because I want it to sound more natural. I mean, these are these people's stories, and they know them better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's helpful. The guest really does all the hard work. We have an online form that anybody who wants to be a guest can fill out, and that kind of is a loose guideline that we use. But yeah.
Sure. So if someone's a testicular cancer survivor, they are a patient currently going through treatments, how can they be a guest on the podcast?
So on testicularcancerawarenessfoundation.org, just go to, I think it's under blog, It Takes Balls podcast, and then there's a form you can fill out. It comes directly to me. We don't really ever deny anybody, so it's just really a formality, like I said, to get the questions answered, so I kind of have a loose guideline. Now we're recording this in September. We've got guests lined up through February of next year. So it's pretty incredible. And for the experts, I think you asked, how do I go about getting guests?
Yeah.
Testicular cancer is so specific. There's topics that are very specific to this disease, but It'll be interesting to kind of go back. I mean, the RPL&D episode was very early on, so in the future maybe we'll do another one with a different doctor who has a different perspective. I know there's doctors out on the West Coast who have a different approach than, Indiana or Sloan. So there's always more to learn.
And obviously, providers are getting updated information. The technology is changing that they use. Perhaps the different protocols that they, all of that is changing. Medicine is science, so it's always, advancing. So hearing those updates is awesome. Stephen, 100 episodes of It Takes Balls. Who was your worst guest? Let me grab Brian Vesall. Brian! That's what I did. Brian is coming.
There was no worst guest.
All of your guests have been great.
The anniversary episode where it was just me, that was the worst guest.
Really?
The first anniversary episode. It was me.
Okay.
I was the only one.
So you interviewed yourself.
I just told my own story and I read it off a piece of paper.
There you go.
Does that make you Pee Wee Herman?
Brian Vesall is here. I'm going to have him sit down with you and take this away.
Brian, you are a legend in the game.
No.
I don't remember what episode you were, but you were a previous guest.
Yep.
What did it like when you had the opportunity to share your story for the first time publicly? I mean, was it a no-brainer? Were you nervous to share your story?
Both. It's a no-brainer I was going to do it because I wasn't going to go through all this and not try to help somebody else. Wanted to throw up a little bit. Didn't, so that was good. Other than the cat photo bombs, it was okay. But, yeah, it was absolutely, there was no question once I got the chance to do it, I was going to do it.
And what kind of feedback have you gotten? I know we talked in the last ballroom a little bit, and you said that you'd heard from people all around the world.
Yeah, I had people from Canada, from Europe. I want to say somebody from South America. They just said, "Hey, we're just so glad." We had a mom of a 17-year-old in Europe that said, "I'm terrified. My son doesn't know what to do. I'm so glad you shared everything." I thought I'd shared everything in one form or another up before the podcast, but I even had family members that said, I didn't know you were going through so much.
Yeah. So how have things evolved for you since your story was shared?
Well, this goes to show how powerful this format is. I've actually had 3 men in my life have gotten checked because something didn't feel good south of the border. They said, we only did it because of you and how I've shared. And luckily, none of the 3 were cancer, but one of them was a leukemia survivor. He's got a port scar where my port still is. So the fact that guys are taking action because of, what you're doing, and you both do so much. It's amazing. It makes the rest of us feel like we're not doing enough. So the fact that we can have that reach, we're changing the conversation within this group, within some other cancer communities. Guys aren't good at talking about this, the physical part or the mental health part. So the fact that we can wrap all that up together and do it, it's a good use.
Yeah, and what do you mean you're not doing enough? I mean, you are a Jordan Jones Memorial Achievement Award winner. What did that mean to you?
Well, I had to follow in your footsteps, so I feel like the guy that dated Pamela Anderson after Tommy Lee. So, no, it was amazing. I was humbled. I wasn't expecting that. I just think, and through the podcast too, you come up on all these anniversaries. Actually, Saturday is my 4-year anniversary of my diagnosis, so it's crazy that we're here. But it's the more we share, the more guys we help. So it's cool. It's cool to use that in a good way.
Do you think those 4 years have flown by, or have they dragged by?
Little of both. Sometimes it feels like another lifetime ago. My oncology center is not far from our house, so there's still times I'll drive by it, and it's a little PTSD. So it's a little bit of both. But now, as we get down that road a little further, it's a little more time has passed, and it's crazy. It's these little things will trigger you. You'll find a place that we went after we got the news, or someplace you visited, or you see someplace that we had a conference at, and now that's kind of what we think of. But it's been a crazy ride, but glad to be here.
We talked a little bit in the last ballroom, which for those of you listening that don't know, it's a new monthly virtual meeting that we have about like staying close to cancer and kind of giving back.
Yep.
And the question was, should you distance yourself from it, or is it something you should embrace? What were your thoughts that you shared in the ballroom, if you don't mind sharing here?
Yeah, I can't tell somebody how to cancer. It's different for everybody. I say it's the ultimate. Your mileage may vary. So I'm not going to tell anybody else what to do, but I just know how terrified I was when I got the news. So every day, other men are getting the worst news of their life. So if I can go through the crap, I want to help somebody out. We're answering questions all the time. My amazing wife, Jamie, there are topics I see pop up in our Facebook group, and I'm going to get in there and comment and share what I can do for tips. And a lot of times she's beat me to the punch. So she's the smarter half. So with my working at a nut company, shout out to Emerald and Flagstone. They've been really supportive.
Sponsors of this conference,
yeah,
by
that's
the
right.
way.
I got to sound like a NASCAR driver. Can't say enough about my car in this crew. Or Titan turn one, whatever. But yeah, so they've been supportive since I was diagnosed a month after starting there. So I'm trying to get them more involved in these other things. And every day, we find somebody new through work or a supplier or something, and it's another chance to share the story.
Brian, thank you so much. I'm going to toss it back to myself in the studio, aka my office, and we're going to catch up with past guest Nickalaus Goodman. So Nickalaus Goodman, we're joined by you now. It's been almost 3 years, over 3 years actually, since we had you on the podcast. You were episode 9. You were very early on, an early adopter of It Takes Balls, so thank you for that. So what's been going on over these last 3+ years?
Yeah, so I would say that's probably the best episode out there. So I encourage people to watch it again. But, the last 3 years have been pretty normal. They've been pretty routine for me. Continue to do my regular follow-ups every 3 to 6 months and do what's required. And I am happy to say that in 2 weeks, I'll hit my 5 years since I finished the chemo treatment. And I think that, life's been pretty good, pretty normal, pretty exciting.
Yeah, and you were for a while, and Dr. Carey took over, but you were the most listened to episode. So did you get any feedback from any listeners who said that your story was helpful?
Yeah, it's really random. I was talking to an insurance salesman or some salesman had reached out to me. I don't remember what it was. It was probably, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he said, "Hey, did you happen to do a podcast about testicular cancer?" And I was like, "I sure did." And he's like, "I just listened to that a couple weeks ago." And I was like, oh, "Okay, so tell me more." And so, yeah, it was just completely random. He was in another state. It was a work-related item. And he's just like, "Hey, are you the guy from the podcast?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." So, I think it's interesting to know that your impact really does make a difference. And you never know who that's going to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you continued listening? Or I know you said kind of the follow-ups kind of just become routine and maybe you've moved on with your life.
Yeah, so, I have moved on. I still put value in what we went through, what we've all gone through, what some of us are currently going through. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I try not to focus on it. I do continue to listen to the podcast from time to time. I think that it's gotten better. I think that the engagement's probably important. But I would say I probably refer people to it more than I listen to it. When somebody tells you that they've been diagnosed or that they're going through it, then it's like, "Hey, take a listen. Let me know if I can help you in any way." But I use it as a reference point to kind of tell my story without having to retell my story.
Yeah, that's great. So as you hit that 5-year milestone, and by the time this comes out, you will have hit it. So congratulations. As you look ahead, is anything about your life going to change? Are you living life more to the fullest? Are you taking advantage of opportunities? Yeah,
I think anybody who goes through these kind of health experiences, it definitely changes your outlook and your perspective. And I engage regularly with a therapist just to make sure that my mental health stays in the right place, just to make sure that you've got a good sounding board in life. But ultimately, I feel like life is normal. Life is the same. I take probably more risk than I did I was a pretty conservative person from a risk perspective. But now I'm kind of like, eat the cake, buy the dessert. If you want it, do it. Go for it. Life is too short. It goes by so quick. So, yeah, I definitely do more than I did before.
That's awesome. Is there anything else that you want to add as we close up this catch up?
No, I would just say you can do it. You'll get through it. And you'll be like me in 5 years and you'll look back and be like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." Take good notes. as you go through the experience because you're going to forget the details, and having those notes is really important.
Nickalaus Goodman, thank you so much for your time catching up.
Yeah, glad to be here.
This is probably a jump cut because we're just doing things ad hoc here, but I'm joined by Dr. Rich Matulewicz at the Testicular Cancer Conference in Boston, episode 100. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a privilege and an honor to be here, especially on this podcast.
You're a former guest. I mean, what is this podcast? What feedback do you hear from your patients?
Yeah, so I have had so many patients reach out. Oh yeah, I have had so many patients reach out, not even on my own podcast, but just the podcast in general, like the body of work that you've put together. It's a wonderful resource to people. I think it's an amazing entry point into TCAF as a foundation, as an institution, and I think it is doing everything that you're seeking for it to do and bringing people together, educating people, kind of promoting the concepts of survivorship and, the brotherhood of testis cancer and all of the fantastic things. So a very sincere congratulations on 100.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, I always hope that we're putting out correct information. Do you ever have a patient that comes to you and you're like, where did you learn that? And they say it takes balls, and you're like, that's wrong?
No, I have not had that experience.
Okay,
because,
good.
You do an amazing job. I think the guests have done an amazing job, and I think it, even if it doesn't have 100% perfect, correct everything, it starts the conversations. It gets people thinking about things. It allows people to understand that, they're not alone in going through things, and there's this amazing support network, and not only of, survivors and other patients and advocates, but the doctors too. So
we're at the Testicular Cancer Conference, as I mentioned. Why are events like this so important for not only providers but for patients?
Yeah, this brings people together. I've run into a few of my own patients already, and I've been able to greet them with a big hearty hug and chat about things outside of the clinical setting. And it's wonderful to meet spouses, partners, family members, and also just see people thriving. It's a different relationship when I'm sitting in my white coat in the office and someone's coming in to discuss scans and stuff. There's so much anxiety, and it's just such a great opportunity to have a human connection with people and just chat, and brings everybody together. So that's great.
The episode that you did was about health-related quality of life. That's what you're talking about at tomorrow's conference. Do you get to learn more about that, anecdotally attending these things?
Honestly, and that is the starting point of all of this work, is having these conversations with patients, understanding that there's a need for this kind of thing, and all good research questions come from something that you pick up and find clinically that there's a need for, and talking to patients about some of the quote unquote softer things associated with cancer treatment and outcomes. It goes well beyond just recurrence-free survival, overall survival, toxicity, and stuff like that. And fortunately for folks with testis cancer, it extends 20, 30, hopefully 100 years for everybody. And I think taking care of and addressing all of those things is super important.
Awesome. Dr. Matulewicz, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So, Zak, you were episode, 16 back in October of 2022. Where are you now?
Well, right here, I'm in beautiful Palm Beach, Florida, here on a visit with my folks. This is my hometown, actually down here on the weekend. I'm living in Tallahassee, Florida, since I moved down to Florida since the episode, working in Florida now, back in my home state. And it's been a wonderful time down here. Been down back in Florida for the last almost 2 years. Earlier this year, I'm happy to say I reached the 5-year mark, and active surveillance is over. So it's been a great year, man. Just living life to the fullest, healthy physically, mentally, emotionally. I've been on a health journey, eating right, back to exercising, eating right, and then with help with some the medical team from my doctors, especially my oncologists over the last few years, as well as my general doctors. Over the last year, I've lost about 100 pounds, so really back to being in some of the best shape of my life, and it's been awesome, man. I'm really it's it's been great. I'm digging it.
Yeah, man, the glow up is real. Anybody I encourage to go look at Zak's Instagram. You can definitely see the transformation. And I know when we last talked, you were looking ahead to the 5-year mark. So it's awesome to hear that you've hit that. I know there was some time in the interim you wanted to talk mental health, and I know you mentioned that you play like guitar, and then now you've got a dog. So tell me about like the mental health journey.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still playing the guitar every now and then. I want to play it a little bit more. Trying to uh, uh, eventually, do some open mics, maybe where I'm at in Tallahassee, and get into maybe playing with the group a little bit locally just for fun. Um, Adopted a beautiful 1.5-year-old now, Great Dane Rescue. Her name is Zoe. She is the cutest, most loving dog I think I've ever had in my life. She is a ball full of fun. I call her my house horse. She cuddles up everywhere you go, and it's been just such a great supportive uh, great support for me, especially because Dewey, my last dog, he was a yellow lab. He passed away right, I think, just after or just before, rather, we recorded our episode, and he was such a big pillar of support for me during my cancer journey. He lived to be about 14 or so a fairly long life, and waited a little bit, but found Zoe through a local rescue and humane society at an event that my station where I'm working at now helped sponsor and host with some humane societies in North Florida and South Georgia. She's been a big help to me. I'm living close by with my family, so my parents are actually living close by, so we're all together now, which has been a big help. And really, just Stephen, this whole journey has really brought to mind the scope of the big thing with mental health I want to hit on is live your life every day with the thought of put what's most important in life first. And what you have, what's come to me realizing is that what really are the most important things in life throughout this journey I've been on with cancer. Spending time with family and friends, those experiences of going and traveling, going to theme parks here in Florida, maybe for example, just playing guitar, spending time with Zoe, spending time with loved ones. I mean, that is really what is most important in life and making you happy. So whatever you have that makes you happy out there, go out and do it because that's what's worth putting stock in life.
Great advice. And as we come down the home stretch here on this catch up, I know you mentioned the station you work at. So those who didn't listen to episode 16, I encourage you to go back and listen. But you're a news anchor. So how have you been able to, over the last 3 years since we last spoke, been able to use your platform to raise awareness?
Yeah, so the station where I work at now, WCTV, the CBS station in Tallahassee, Florida. You can catch me Monday through Friday, 5:30 and 11 o'clock. Stream us on WCTV. We're on streaming platforms, but I'm one of the weekday anchors Monday through Friday, 5:30, 11 o'clock newscast with Abby Walton, Chief Meteorologist Mike McCall, and our WCTV sports team as well. Great supportive team as far as helping me continue on raising awareness with my journey. I've been able to get involved with local groups, especially along with Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation, others groups like the American Cancer Society, Relay for Life of the Big Bend, Florida's Big Bend region. We have a very collaborative approach with all the local counties, about a dozen counties or so. We were able to group in for this last Relay for Life event, and I was honored to be able to be involved as their guest speaker, get up there and share my story, while we and other groups helped with this event raise tens of thousands of dollars to help testicular cancer survivors and other cancer survivors in general with treatment, resources, you name it. So being able to do that as well as look at other avenues to help share my story. They've been very, very supportive. So I can't thank them enough for the support they've given me.
Awesome. Zak, thank you so much for catching up. And I think that dress back there behind you will look great on you. So go try that on for us.
I think after brunch, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. Hey, I just want to say real quick, thank you, Stephen, for what you've done and continue to do. TCAF is also a great foundation, and to all the survivors, medical professionals, and others that have taken part. 100 episodes. Here's to the next 100 as well, because thank you for giving all of us a platform to share our story and to get more information out there, because this is what needs to happen with this fight. So good on you, man. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have a podcast to do without guests like you. So, Zach, thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. You're the man.
Now I'm joined with a new face, Kyle.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's exciting.
So, BJ, who we just talked to in the beginning of this episode, he mentioned that you are a listener of the podcast.
Yes.
How did you find the podcast?
So my fiance actually sent it to me probably like 2 days after I was diagnosed. Super confused, a little scared, didn't really know what was going on. And she's like, hey, I found this cool podcast. Like, you should go check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And has it been helpful for you, or is it just listening to me ask dumb questions?
No, it's been super helpful, especially when I first got diagnosed. So I was diagnosed in December, so I'm still less than a year out. And, was super scary at first, and I was like really, really nervous about what was going to happen. I didn't know anything about this. And the podcast was just very informative, very educational, kind of helped me grasp what was happening to me and wrap my head around it, and really just made, going into these different stages of my journey a lot better.
I don't want to make you spill all your beans right now,
Sure.
because I want you to be a guest in the future. But, I mean, so December of last year, this episode's coming out in November. You're almost at a year. How's the last year been?
The last year has been, a lot of ups and downs. So I did my orchiectomy in January, chemo in March and April, and then Dr. Clinton did my RPL&D in July. So it's been busy for sure, kind of a lot of ups and downs. But now that we're kind of through everything and we're looking good, feeling good now and looking to move forward.
Are you local to this area, New England, or did you travel in?
I live 20 minutes away.
Nice.
So
okay.
This was actually perfect. And Dr. Clinton was like, hey, you guys coming to the conference? I was like, what conference? What are you talking about?
Perfect.
So.
Hey, shout out Dr. Clinton.
Yeah, shout out Dr. Clinton.
Kyle, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So now I'm joined by former guest Cristian Alvizo.
Yes.
We last left you. You were wanting to go to med school.
Yep.
You're still in the process.
Still in the process.
What's been going on since your episode?
So I've been busy, that's for sure. I took the very scary, hard exam that everyone has to take to get into med school called the MCAT about 2 weeks ago. So that's been a process. I mean, this last year has been dedicated to studying for that. I've had great opportunities to shadow a lot of the urologists in Southern California, especially at UCSD with Dr. Bergrodia, who
Nice.
is involved in TCAF. It's just been an amazing opportunity to talk to him and kind of see the patient base, go around, see different patients, different ages, different diagnoses, different parts of urology, bladder cancer, prostate cancer, getting a more full view of the cancer space of urology, but also just seeing testicular cancer in the clinic. I had a really amazing, also kind of, interesting experience recently as well, where I got to shadow a Dr. Conagetti at Scripps, and I got to go into the same room that I was diagnosed
Wow.
with for testicular cancer.
What was
but
that
this
like?
It was a surreal experience, right? Like 4 years ago, I'm in this room the day before my high school senior graduation being told I have testicular cancer.
Yeah.
Scary, all the emotions, it's just a big moment for sure. And now I'm in that same room with a new urologist talking about bladder cancer, prostate cancer, testicular cancer with patients that were in the same position that I was, or a little bit different. But it gives you perspective on how it feels to be a patient in those moments, and that anxiety, the what if, what now, this scary moment that, is very prominent in your life. So I think it was just a huge reflection moment for me. It kind of reinstated my why for why I want to pursue medicine, how I want to be the doctor in that moment to guide the patient through that scary process in general, and be a steady figure in that process for them. So it's been great to have that experience and kind of have that full circle moment, if you will, And it's just been overall an amazing opportunity, and I'm just blessed to have a lot of the connections down there, and just through TCAF being able to network and just meet patients at all levels. So yeah.
Hey, I mean, I can't help but smile. This dude's, like I said in his episode, he got the $1 million smile.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Were you able, when you saw those patients with testicular cancer in that same room you were in, are you able to kind of tell them you've been through it, or since you're shadowing, are you?
Since I'm shadowing, I'm a little bit on the back end
Okay.
of the experience with the
makes
patient.
sense.
I try not to overstep in any way that may impact the care, or each patient has their own perspective on the situation. So I follow the doctor's lead. I let them guide the interaction. If there is a moment where I think it's relevant, then maybe. But I haven't personally had that yet to that extent.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think it's in the event that I do have that moment, I think it'll be cool to be able to talk about that.
What about, since your episode came out, have you gotten any feedback? I know we talked to Brian Vesall earlier. He said he got people from all around the world reaching out to him. Did anybody reach out to you?
It's been a little while, but I do remember people reaching out to me via DM after that, just thanking me for sharing my story. People at the conferences bringing up that they saw my podcast episode. Yeah, and it's just been an amazing thing in general to have that. And I just met someone as well who's, I'm starting a nonprofit-esque thing as well, where I donate Legos to kids with cancer.
Awesome.
Because Legos are my therapy through this process.
I remember that.
Yeah, and building Legos was my favorite thing while recovering. And so I had people. We just had a full conversation about how he's a lawyer and how he could help me with that process as well.
That's awesome.
So it's just been amazing to have that network and people reaching out to you, wanting to help and being so gracious with their time. So, yeah.
Cristian Alvizo, thank you so much for coming on episode 100.
Means a lot to me.
Appreciate it. All right, so to put a bow on this 100th episode, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to do 100 episodes and however many more we get to do. But I mean, what feedback have you gotten from the podcast, TCAF in general, over the last 16 years?
Oh gosh, there's not enough time. And first of all, I want to thank you for being such a huge part of TCAF and coming to me with the idea of starting a podcast for testicular cancer and giving this space to the patients, survivors, the caregivers, and the medical community. And it's just been so incredible to see the results of people listening to the podcast and how much it's helping them. Whether they've just been diagnosed or long-term survivorship, there's so much good that's coming from this. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. As I sit here and did the first one with BJ earlier tonight, as soon as we finished, someone came up to me and was like, "You're the guy from the podcast," which I'm just an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. But I mean, it's amazing to have a small part of the impact that Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation has had, and that's thanks to you and Jordan. So,
well, TCAF wouldn't be what it is today without people like you and all the others that support the organization. So,
well, we wouldn't have it any other way. Can you believe it's 100 episodes?
Oh my gosh, so amazing, so amazing.
Can't believe it.
And all of the guests that have been on the podcast,
thank you again so much. Thank everybody for listening. We wouldn't have a show without you guys listening. I mean, episode 100, this is coming out on the 4th anniversary of the podcast.
Amazing.
I can't believe it. It's amazing.
And you finally got me to be a guest on the podcast
We
after
did.
a couple of years.
Yep. That was June 8th of, was it last year or 2 years ago?
I don't know.
I think it was last year.
Last year. It
Yeah.
was the 8th. Yeah.
Amazing. Kim, thank you so much. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
If you're not already following or subscribed to the show, please do so. If you know anybody who's diagnosed, tell them about the show. And again, we just thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do this show, and hopefully it's been helpful.
Thank you, everyone.
For more information and resources for your testicular cancer journey, visit testicularcancerawarenessfoundation.org.